I mean, there are actually a lot of the role-playing games really light story. I mean, not too won't grow too much on you, but this game is the story pretty much swallows you. You're in the story or not in it at all.
Yeah,
you
because
play the game.
because your choices does matter so much in this world.
Because there is a lot of consequence.
Yeah,
But also this game at all has a very mature atmosphere to it, because I mean the game is very dark tone, very brutal.
yeah. The Witcher franchise has a very dark tone to it.
But I mean nobody wants to make a happy game about monster hunters.
No,
Then again,
no, that would be a little.
that would be like
A little awkward.
Call of Duty with paintball bullets.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Imagine like this badass knight riding a unicorn, slaying raccoons.
Stop trolling for unicorns to say that because Shrapnel would have put it. I showed Venomous clip from This Gun Fucking Sucks by Wicked Shrapnel. I mean, he pretty much laughed his ass off.
Yeah. Oh, some guys on the internet just do genius.
Continues, and a group of rebels have barricaded themselves inside the monastery. What of my children?
And if you noticed, if you have a nice eye, like an eagle eye or something, Sharingan perhaps, you may have noticed that Geralt has two swords on his back. And that's because one of them is a steel sword and the second one is a silver sword. So we have to change between the two, because the steel swords are the only thing that's effective against human beings. And I think it's the same with elves and dwarves. Even though they're
Pretty
not
much
human.
everything non-monster uses the steel sword, but everything you mention something that's a monster, you use the silver sword. The silver sword is suppostly the Witcher's most precious weapon.
Yeah, because hey, even dragons hate silver. Kind of, I don't know, but it's a nice twist to the whole world.
I mean, it's one of the small details in this lore that makes it what it is. Gives it the sort of serious RPG fantasy vibe.
Yeah. But
Talking about fantasy, let's talk a little about Final Fantasy.
yeah, why not?
Why not?
Why the fuck not? So,
Why the fuck?
as we mentioned, we're going to play some Final Fantasy 13-2 when it releases.
I am just get it out the way right now. I am a die-hard Final Fantasy fan. I mean, I love that series to death. It's the first time I saw it. The first game I actually ever saw anything of a try was Final Fantasy 9, and that is still my favorite Final Fantasy game to date.
I played Final Fantasy 7 and it's my favorite Final Fantasy game to this day. From I think Final Fantasy, well, all the Final Fantasies from 1 to 10 are pretty good. All of them are really good, I think. I haven't played all of them, but after 10 it kind of went downhill for Final Fantasy.
Yeah, it kind of did, because
11, 14 are online, and
Gotland kind of failed, but also what
how much players do they have? 10? 20? I don't know.
let's not
Oh, I'm just kidding. But yeah,
I'm
and
offended by this shit.
but
Just kidding. To be honest, I'm a hardcore Final Fantasy fan, but I never played any of the online games. Just I had an active World of Warcraft subscription and I really enjoyed that game. I had no season, so no reason to change MMO-wise.
yeah, let's face it, there is no online game like World of Warcraft. There's a reason it have 12, 11, 9, 7 million players. I don't know.
There were 11
anymore.
million players, but I actually think it has seen some decrease after release of the Old Republic.
Yeah, from vanilla and on, it just got downhill too. Like with Mists of Pandaria.
The game got a lot easier with time.
Yeah, I mean, to start off, you had to walk, use some hours getting a group for a dungeon. Then you needed to spend some hours in travel time to these dungeons. Now you just get group instant and you get teleported
It's
in and out of the dungeon.
It is sort of a good thing, but in the other hand, it's not a good thing.
Oh, it's a drowner?
He looks like you.
Is it? Oh, fuck you, man. Fuck you. But that's a drowner, isn't it?
Yeah, it was the drowner.
Yeah, drowners. They are like the easiest shit ever. in The Witcher 1.
It wasn't that easy the first time I ran through it because I used my steel sword alone.
Then it took like a
No,
half
I'm
an hour
serious,
to kill them.
You can't something like that. You can use the steel sword to fight monsters and vice versa. Oh crap! He doesn't seem too lucky. Oh, I just shattered him. But you can use the silver sword on humans and vice versa. But it will take like forever to kill things. And that's one of the things actually I didn't realize to begin with, that I just ran around with my steel sword open, just bashing everything I saw.
Yeah. Speaking of using the wrong swords and the wrong enemies, I have to spot at the end of The Witcher 1, there someone has stolen the Witcher secrets to make mutants, so you have to fight an army of mutants. And of course I thought the mutants was the monsters, so I used the steel sword on them. And it took like hours to kill all of them. And then I got the journal which said that the mutants were vulnerable to steel. And I was like, fuck! And then I started using steel. And
But
it was a cakewalk after that.
It's sort of one of those mistakes that sort of, oh my god, I can brag that I did it with the wrong thing, but it grows on you that you made it yourself so much harder than you had to.
Indeed.
There, Skoyatel.
Oh, Skytel. It means squirrels in Elven, squirrel or squirrels, I don't know. But they're mainly a terrorist slash freedom fighter group for the non-humans in The Witcher.
Why the hell am I using my silver sword against a mob?
As you can see, they take a lot of more damage with a steel sword.
Because they are in fact humans.
Or are they? You know, the moral of The Witcher 1, I think you can really sit down and analyze these games because they are based of the book series. I think that's the main reason. But The Witcher 1, the moral is that the real monster is in fact the humans themselves.
And this is sort of reflected in the Witcher 2 as well. You know, you see humans pretty much bashing on every other race out there because they actually Skoyatel. I mean, if we see something that we don't like, or an action we don't like, we blame everyone associated with that one person who did the act as a scoundrel.
Indeed, because the Skoyatel, the terrorist group, are mainly elves, but you got some dwarves in there as well. But actually, some elves and dwarves live in the cities with humans and own the workshops and the item shops and run the inns and stuff. So
yeah, that's in Flotsam, but once you see the Skoyatel actually doing something around there, it becomes a massacre in the city, and the non-humans in the city are massacred because they're non-humans. Oh, I remember I just fucked around here when I played the game first time and didn't really quite remember what to do. I didn't. I was trying to find a way to open that gate, but I just. How the fuck do I do that?
I had no idea.
No, I mean, let's just bash on these guys.
But as far as I've seen, the combat doesn't look so hard. It's like regular hack and
not on
slash.
easy, but the boss fights are fairly complex even on easy. But when you play on harder difficulties, you have to really engage and play it differently, because you have to be able to, according to dodge, block, and counter and repost, and even you can use bombs and things on harder difficulties to be able to maneuver.
Let's see. The guy you just killed, he was pretty tough. Was he like a mini boss or
No, it was just
just
guy
a
with
regular tough
guy with
enemy?
badass armor.
Ah, I see. So, well, I've also heard that the boss fights or the monsters you fight here are a lot bigger and cooler than the Witcher 1. I mean, the Witcher 1, the biggest thing you ever killed was like a giant spider, which was kind of 2.5 times the size of you.
No, straight out of the bat. I mean, the first boss, straight from the first boss you fight here, real boss, is something called the K-Ran. I mean, it's a kraken-sized sea monster, pretty much blocking all sea traffic. It's, I mean, the battles are pretty much becoming epic set pieces by now. Pretty much something you could take straight out of a fantasy movie.
Nice.
Because this game actually does, even though it's an RPG, it actually does use active time events. Even though that's not too normal for a RPG these days.
Yeah.
Or for a RPG ever.
And that's kind of a risky move from the developers, because a lot of people hate active
Active time sequences.
Yes, active time sequences. That's right.
But I mean, I remember when Darksiders was released. I mean, it was alright, finally an adventure game without these active time shit. I mean, because every game was using it. I mean, it worked for God of War, but pretty much every game after that was running like that used it.